This is a mobile phone. It's a telecommunication device, and the thing is, the way we use these things today are a little bit different. It's a camera for you to take photos and your Insta Story videos. It's an entertainment device for you to watch Netflix or listen to Spotify to your favorite tunes. You can even do work if you need to. And that's my problem with EV manufacturers today. They think that cars are devices like this, and they feed us with all this gimmicky stuff that car guys like us don't actually need. This retro little thing right here, this is the Honda E, and it's literally Honda's first mass market EV. It may not be revolutionary like a Tesla, but this retro thing is a cool little runabout car which Honda says is supposed to be fun and very stylish. Well, immediately I think it's completely retro, and since the first time I first saw it on the internet, I've been so intrigued to drive it. Lucky thing, we have one of that today, so let's check it out and see what's it like to drive. Now, first and foremost, you have to sort of get acquainted with this car because it might not be as straightforward as it is to drive this thing. You see, this thing does not have side mirrors. It's sort of the elephant in the room because immediately when you see from the outside of the retro outlook, you see the lack of the mirror on the left and right side of the car. Now, instead, Honda offers these screens and two very clear and very sharp cameras on the left and right side of the car in replacement of the mirrors, which in theory sort of works. I mean, the whole idea is of course to reduce drag, but maybe it needs some getting used to at start. But the positioning of the screens sort of works because we are now sitting in rush hour KL traffic and I'm not getting any blind spots at all despite the lack of mirrors. It's kind of disorientating at first, but it isn't something that it's hard for you to get used to. Now, Honda has gone for this minimalistic approach on the interior of the car. There isn't much distractions on the car except for these two huge infotainment screens inside the car, which is sort of something that most of us have gotten acquainted to because most modern cars come with screens nowadays anyway. Now, on the interior fit and finish, there is this denim-like material that runs all around the car, which is kind of cool. I like the fact that the seat belts are coffee brown or wood brown in a way to match the trim on the wood paneling over here. You see, most electric cars, they try to go for this environmental friendly sort of outlook, which usually makes the interior kind of bland. Now, this is amongst the things that I don't really like about electric cars. They tend to do things a little bit differently to sort of differentiate themselves from a normal petrol-powered or diesel-powered car. Like, for example, stepping into a Tesla, you have this plain blend of emptiness on the interior, which is, I guess, in a way the Tesla way, but I never really liked that. I think what this car really is a modern take on an EV version of a Honda Jazz, because just look at the whole retro outlook, look at the whole tech that's been put on this car. It's pretty fitting to the day and age it sits in today. And this being an EV, well, what you need to do literally is just spend time in it, enjoy it, and, well, do your daily runabouts as per like this. You see, when it comes to electric cars, people will always ask, how far is the range? And well, I think that is where the Honda E, at least on paper, sounds a little bit more defeated, because in theory, it only has 220 kilometers of range. But as I've been driving whole day today, on a full charge, I've only seen somewhere around 170 to 180 kilometers of range on a full charge, which isn't a lot. But you see, Honda, through their research on Urbanize, they've actually found out that not a lot of people actually travel more than 200 kilometers in a day. And this, using the philosophy of being an urban city roundabout car, it is more important for them to keep the weight low on this car rather than giving longer range. You see, in order to give this car more range, they've got to fit more battery packs into this car, and that will add on to the weight. And of course, as you all know, weight means it will deter the fun to drive factor from behind the wheel right here. And that is something that Honda didn't want. This car has a 50-50 weight distribution. The driving wheels are on the rear, and the fun to drive factor is, well, pretty up there. It's really nippy around town, and when you get to some slight B roads like this, well, the car can be pretty fun to drive. In fact, Honda has even fitted Michelin PS4s on this car rather than those eco-friendly tires, just to, I guess, add on to the fun factor and the grip factor. And I have to admit, that's something to applaud Honda for. Jumping into the EV lifestyle is an adjustment. You see, range anxiety will get you planning on your routes on your daily basis, which in a way kind of sucks. But then again, the infrastructure here in Malaysia is slowly improving. Like for example, we are down along Jalan Tun Razak and we have an EV charger right here. So I'm just here to get this thing charging. The whole concept of the Honda E, I think, is really cool. Think of it a bit like a recreational vehicle or something like a classic car, where you can really truly just enjoy this in the city or on very special occasions, because just take a look at the whole concept of the thing. The whole retro outlook makes it kind of cool. And because of that, I think works very well with the Honda E, because this thing doesn't try hard to be an EV. It's just a very cool, small runabout car that is modernized in a lot of ways, that just so happens to be running with an electric motor. And for that alone, gives this thing a full-on character that car guys like you and me might just enjoy.